Thank you, Stuart. You've done a really great facilitation here because we're running ahead of time. I think this is the first ever experience for Presbytery Central at a gathering. You can stay on. So we're going to take this moment because we don't want to put the caterers under pressure. That wouldn't be loving. So we'll let them continue to work towards one for lunch. And in the meantime, we're thrilled to have Hannah Dunne come as a representative of the Press Go group for our Presbyterian church, and she's going to share with us a little bit about what the work is that they do. So let's welcome Hannah in this capacity.
Thank you. Kia ora everyone, I am Hannah, and today I want to talk to you and give you a brief introduction of Presgo. Actually, who has heard of Presgo before? Most of you probably have. Who has heard of Presgo recently? Ooh, more than I thought. Okay, wonderful. So particularly I want to think about what Presgo might be able to do for us here in Central Presbytery. As Alistair said, I'm part of the Presgo board representing Central Presbytery. So one of the things I'm interested in is making sure that Presgo isn't something that just happens elsewhere in Pecans, but it also is able to help us here in Central Presbytery. Something that it can actually support and resource mission that is happening here among us. At its simplest, Presgo exists to resource and equip innovative mission across the PCANZ. The aim isn't for Presco to tell churches what they should be doing. Instead, we want to collaborate with you, come alongside people who are seeking opportunities for mission and help them explore, develop, and where appropriate, fund these ideas. So we have 3 key strands, which are inspiring mission. This is about sharing stories, resourcing, and examples of what people are trying to do across the church. Sometimes hearing what other churches have tried, like we've done this morning, including what they have learned along the way, imagining what might be possible in our own context. So I can see that we've already collaborated and without even knowing it. The second one is building capacity. This is about helping presbyteries and churches become better equipped for mission through sharing expertise, connecting people, and helping leaders navigate change. The goal isn't to give churches another program, it's about helping us develop the confidence and capacity to respond to the opportunities in our own communities. And the third is seed funding, which might be what you know us best for at the moment. The financial support for innovative mission projects. The important thing about seed funding is that it allows us to try something. We don't necessarily need to know exactly what the final outcome will be. Sometimes mission requires us to experiment, learn, and adapt. So who are we? We are a group of people from across New Zealand, including Peter was talking about a young Korean man from Northern Presbytery. Won Hyuk, he is part of our team from Northern Presbytery. I'm obviously representing Central Presbytery alongside people from Alpine, Northern, Kaimai, and Te Akapuahu. The diversity I see is really important in what we're trying to develop so that we don't just see one model, one way of mission. We are able to explore what mission means in different cultural contexts and not even different cultural contexts, just in different spaces. So what Northern is doing might be different to what Central is doing, to what Southern's doing. Oh, we don't have Southern representing. We do have our AES though, who is in Southern, and so we're able to explore what mission might look like in these different contexts. We can also look at what we can learn from each other and what that might look like in our own context. One of the board's key responsibilities is visioning. we are trying to move we are trying to be involved in the culture of the PCANZ towards what has been described as a missional, imaginative future. This means asking questions like what is happening in our communities? What are we seeing God? Where are we seeing God already at work? What is changing around us? And perhaps most importantly, what might God be inviting us to do differently? We are also looking um, internationally around futures of what is happening in the future of the church and thinking about what we can learn from cultures overseas that we can bring back over here. As part of this work, Presco has commissioned Kevin Ward to undertake research into the changing landscape of our church and mission in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Alongside this, we are working towards a conference in Wellington in April next year, where we will share insights from this research, reflect together, explore what it might mean for the future mission of PCANZ. And I know that myself and Alistair have both been interviewed as part of this process so far. So it's underway, it's happening, and I look forward to seeing what is coming about. Okay, so funding. That's what everybody always wants to know, right? Um, we have 3 spaces where we can operate out of funding. We have the Presbyterian Foundation grants. So this opportunity is that we generally give grants of under $10,000 and can support things such as community-focused mission, new ministry opportunities, or research and investigation into these new opportunities. So if a congregation within Central has an idea for something new, there may be an opportunity to get some financial support to explore it. I know that our last meeting that we had earlier in the year, we gave funds to a school and to a church to get a new youth pastor in those 2 spaces, which is very exciting. Um, as a youth pastor, I'm always excited about different things that are happening with youth ministry within Central Presbytery. Give It a Go is also Here we go. Give It a Go is also a great thing to try out. So sometimes you might not need $10,000. Sometimes you might have an idea and you just want to step out in faith and see what might come about. And so we give grants of up to $500, where we just give $500. Um, nobody's asked for less than $500, so I don't know what would happen if they did. But these grants are available for creative events, for activities that are community facing and utilize volunteers. And so I can give a personal story about that. At St. John's in the city, we recently ran a 8-week Bible course where we originally had the cap of 30 people. We thought maybe we could get 30 people to come along. We saw it as a great way to evangelize, to say, hey, we're going to run this course. Invite your friends to come along who might not have heard the Bible before. And we had 90 people. So we told our caterers, would you be willing to cater 30 people? They all said yes, yes, yes. And then we were like, oh, okay, so 90, including children. So they were all very gracious with the additional numbers. And Presco was able to give us some money to be able to give that a go. Our last one at the moment is we have just created, I've written partnership, but I should say we are collaborating with PDS, which used to be PSDS. And so this is around asset development for congregations and other ministries, particularly where external expertise could be useful. I think it is worth highlighting because not every challenge a congregation faces is a funding problem. Sometimes the questions might be, we have this building asset that we can be using differently, but we don't know how. Could it contribute more effectively to our mission? Or maybe the question might be, we have an idea, but we don't have the expertise to know whether it is actually viable. And so the PDS partnership means that there can be access to external expertise to help congregations explore those sorts of questions. So Presco isn't simply about handing out money. Sometimes we can be most useful with the things that we can provide. We can provide you with advice around the right people, expertise, and support a congregation to work where possible. I would like to point out that we've got this. I would like to point out that we've got this exciting, the bottom one, around green enterprise initiatives. I am part of the St. John's Eco Church movement. That's not what we're called. I help run it. I can't remember what it's called. But but this one particularly is exciting for me as someone who is part of Creation Care. That's what it's called. We're the Creation Care group, and so I'm particularly excited to see whether we might be able to use some of this funding if we apply. Maybe they'll give it to us. I'll have to excuse myself from that boat. I promise I'm not sucking up to Alistair, but the word I would want to particularly emphasize in this is collaboration. Collaboration is a core value for Presco. We don't want Presco to operate as something that is separate from the rest of the church. A key focus is working alongside Te Ako Pōoho as well and the presbyteries. We have recently been meeting with the Presbytery Mission Enablers. We met with them as a big group earlier in this year to think about how we can work together more efficiently. So here in Central, I think the question becomes, how can we make use of this? If Central Presbytery and the churches within Central Presbytery are identifying particular mission challenges or opportunities, could Presco help you explore these? Could we provide training or expertise? Could we connect you with similar to churches facing similar challenges? Could we help fund some experiments? These are the sort of questions and conversations that I would love to be having conversations with you about. And I know that Stuart is also probably having these conversations with you as well. Most importantly, though, you don't need to arrive with a completed funding application. Part of this is having the conversations to be able to put together the funding application. I know funding applications are usually the thing that stops us in our tracks, but don't let the funding application put you off. We would love to have conversations and then help you create the funding. Also, when we help you create the funding applications as well, it's more likely that we say yes, because we are traveling with you. We know your vision. So what does this look like? Here are a couple of examples. Outside the Box Jesus is a resource that was put together, a six episode film series that I have used. It was fantastic. It originally we gave them a $10,000 grant to start an online website to be able to become almost like a social media platform for Christians. And then as part of that, have this film series. Partway through this process, they pivoted. They realized that the website aspect wasn't working, and so they pivoted into doing more of the film series. And so we were supportive of that, realizing that when you're in the middle of a project and you're realizing that if we keep going, we're going to get nowhere, we'd rather pivot into somewhere which allows us to have resources that can be used. We give regularly to Forge Aotearoa. Is anybody involved in Forge? Yay! Well, Forge is great. Forge is exploring all the time new ways of doing mission, exploring what church might look like in different contexts, and we are excited to be able to fund them as well. St Andrew's Geraldine has a part-time intergenerational staff member when they realized that um, they had growing numbers of people in the parish. I think this is a particularly useful example because innovation doesn't always mean creating something completely new. Sometimes it is recognizing where God is already at work and then stepping into that space as well uh, to partner with us and with God. Just Stories. Has anybody heard of Just Stories? Yeah, nah. Okay. So this is a particularly helpful one. It's like what we've done today with hearing lots of different stories about the different things that are happening in different churches, in different spaces, learning from each other, hearing exciting good news stories. Um, and it's for Presbytery and whānau, and there are lots of stories up there. So we want you to go and read these stories and then write your own stories of some good things that are happening within your church. What are some things that you could add to the stories to allow others to hear what amazing things are happening in your parishes? We could tell the story, Alistair, of the Bible course. That would be a good one. We have not just this was not just adults applying for these. This was a little youth group that was creating these goodie bags for prem babies in the hospital, and so a youth group put together. Oh yes. Oh no, no, no. Okay. Um, and a youth ball. Okay. So, those are some of the things to give you an idea of what's been happening with the funding that Presco has been able to give. So, ultimately, Presco is about helping the church become more imaginative and more confident in partnering in God's mission. It's about sharing what we are learning, building capacity, providing expertise, supporting experimentation, and making funding available where it can help something take root. And for me, representing Central Presbytery on the board, I'd really like to see Central Presbytery making more use of this resource. So if there's anything happening in your congregation that you think could be a mission opportunity, whether it's small or big, I would love to have a conversation with you about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. We've had a lot to take in this morning. You've done really, really well. Thank you, everybody, for your listening ears.